So Christine is an energetic, tell it like it is, business advisor, mentor, consultant, and speaker with more than 25 years experience in marketing, sales, and operations, working with startups to the biggest companies on the planet. As the owner of Clear Acceleration Inc., she believes that business can be elegantly simple when you know what to focus on to create success. Christine is an international best-selling co-author, holds a Bachelor of Commerce and an MBA in International Business. And Christine's topic today is Fractured to Focus, 3 non-negotiables to ignite your client growth engine. Christine, the floor is yours. I got my notepad ready and I'm ready to take those notes.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. I do believe business is elegantly simple. And I will tell you that I never set out to be a business mentor. That was not my goal. But I've lived all of my life in the world of business. And I built my first business working 1 hour a day. So if you're struggling right now to commit to your business, let me tell you and blow this assumption right out of the water. It is not a question of time. It's knowing what actually drives the needle to create client growth. And without client growth, my friends, you don't have a business, you have a really expensive hobby. And so I'm going to show you the roadmap that I have worked with more than 400 clients to create $1 billion. And while you might not be yet imagining yourself as a $1 million business empire owner, I know the fact you're here means you want to have more than you do now. So let me show you how to get there. The first piece of the puzzle that nobody tells you, and this is going to be shocking, and maybe a plot twist right out of the gate, but your business will be built on strangers. And you all went, oh God, no, really? And it's true. Your business will be built on stranger, which is why I was so passionate about what Linda wanted to bring to the table, because it is about recognizing that visibility is the heart of your client growth engine. And because your business is going to be built on strangers, it is up to you to choose to be found. And it doesn't mean that you have to be on social media. It doesn't mean that you have to choose any one specific tactic. I'm going to gift you 25 of them as part of my free gift for you to be here. But the point is you have to choose this because your business will be built on strangers. And here is the other shortcut you need to know. So if you have to get viewed by strangers, what are the 2 activities that will influence highly your next 90 days? Because not only was your business built on strangers, the actions you take today take time to grow like a plant. And on average, if you're great in the world of business, it takes 90 days to go from first contact to, yes, I want to work with you. And so I always think that Q2 is the most dangerous quarter of the year, because if you don't have clients now and you do nothing today, you will wake up in September and go, oh my God, where the hell is everybody? And unfortunately, your bills don't happen like that. They don't take a vacation for the summer when the nice picnics happen. So if it's going to take 90 days, you better know what to focus on over the next 90 days, because I want you to win. Otherwise, you're going to get to September and start thinking this really dangerous thought. Ready? 2025 is going to be my year. Seriously, that's what you're going to be thinking. And you're going to send me a note and say, oh my God, it's really me. I am that person. So don't be that person. Take action today. Here's the 2 things that will influence your business right now. This is how you get paid. Pay attention. Number 1 is you have to get in front of more people, more ways, more often, and you have to know who your buyer is. Your buyer, your client, or your customer. And one of the biggest reasons companies don't get clients is they're not really sure who they're looking for. I'm going to talk a little bit about that more specifically, but the first thing is you have absolutely got to be out there being found by your next client. Number 2 is that you have to make an offer. Okay, did I just blow anybody up? You have to make an offer. It is up to you actually to lead the offer, because if you don't make an offer to your potential buyer, you guys are in a staring contest, getting nowhere. And what I mean by that, an offer is not a post on social media, I have a program, come find me. It is not, I'm going to an event, come find me. An offer is a conversation between you and somebody you want to impact their life and help them create a result, that you say these favorite words of mine. Would you like me to make you an offer? And if they say yes, I know I'm making an offer. And that does require conversation. It does not need to be a public one. So all those people that are really nervous about I'm hiding in the wilderness, which I know we talked about before we started today, yes, you're going to bumble it. Yes, it's going to not be pretty. I tell you, my first client that ever hired me, I didn't even know I was in a sales call. I was there on a podcast and she was asking me preliminary questions and I thought she was just making chit chat. And she said, no, I'm seriously, I'm getting out my wallet. I want to hire you. And I was like, oh my God, I cut my rate in half. She said yes. And I think, oh my God, I think I just have a client. I mean, it's going to happen not when you expect it. It's not going to happen with bows and beautiful things around it. But the point is, I chose to be visible. I chose to actually come up with a number and I chose not to run away. So if you want to grow your business in the next 90 days, the first invitation I'm going to make for you for homework is track on a simple piece of paper or a spreadsheet if you're a techie person. How many people are you meeting that have the potential to be your buyer, your next client or customer, and how many offers did you make in the last 30 days? Because anytime you start to feel panic at 3 a.m. that, oh my God, I don't know where my next client is coming from, it comes down to you have not done one of these two things and maybe both. So truthfully, I met with a client on Tuesday and she said, I'm really scared. I haven't got any clients starting. And it was the 15th. We met earlier this week. I said, how many offers did you make in May? She's like, 1. I'm like, that's not enough. And it doesn't matter what the perfect number is. The perfect number is your business, your model, who you're looking for, and how effective you are at sales. But if you don't have enough clients right now, a lot of people think it's a marketing problem. It's not, it's a sales problem. And this is how you correct it. Okay, let me remind you in case you missed it. How many people are you meeting? New strangers that you're going to make friends with that have the potential to be your buyer. It's not about getting everybody visible. It's about getting visible by those that will hire you if you want to get paid. And number 2, it is about making the offer. So that's the first piece of the puzzle. The second thing I'm actually, if I can, I'm going to bring up something on the screen because I want you to see this in real life because it will help anybody who is a visual learner. There are 3 foundations every business needs on the planet. Okay. I told you that I had worked and I had supported 400 companies. Here's what every business on the planet needs. I call them the 3 non-negotiables. This is how you transition from fractured to focused to actually see consistent client growth. And that's true if you're a solopreneur working 1 hour a day, or you're working and leading a big team. That is choice, but this works for everybody. So this is the golden ticket right out of the gate, day 1. The first thing is you have to be able to know who is your next buyer. You got to be able to see them, and then you've got to be able to move them. And movement is the key to momentum. And let me tell you what a buyer is, because they're actually the needle in a haystack. And sometimes that's why it can be frustrating and challenging and feel like a tough search and rescue mission. Buyers are a small subset. They're only 3% of the general audience on any given day. And you might be thinking, oh my God, did I get out of bed for 3%? The answer is yes, you did. But the great thing is it's 3% today, 3% tomorrow, 3% the day after, and 3%. And if you compound the magic 8th wonder of the world, that's actually quite a lot of people. But you're not looking for everybody. You're looking for a small group. And you're looking for buyers who have 3 things. This is when you know they're a buyer. Number 1, I know I have a problem. Okay, your job is not to convince or educate someone on something they don't know exists. If you do that, you're on a very long runway and you run a real risk of being a likable expert. Hands up if anybody in the room sometimes feels like a likable expert, instead of the one that's the must hire. Okay, so the first thing is your job is to recognize I already have a problem and I know it. And because I have a problem that repeats itself, I also know it's going to happen again. And because it's going to happen again and I have not solved it, I also know I don't know how to solve it. Because if I could have solved it on my own, I would have. Because I've Googled it, I've Pinterested it, I've YouTubed it, I've downloaded something, I've maybe hired somebody to help me. And truthfully, I am an epic disaster because the problem's still, wow, back in my life. Crap, I'm back in a problem. But there's a real recognition that I've tried to solve it and I haven't. And it's an awareness, which means I am a seeker, which means I'm curious. And so your job as a business owner is to spark the curiosity, to start the movement, to recognize the pattern, and to say, I'm going to disrupt it. Number one, I already know I have a problem. Number two, I've tried to solve it and I know I'm in my own way. And how can you observe this? Is if you've ever watched somebody draw a line in the sand and say, I'm drawing the line in the sand again, that's a buyer. I've already drawn the line, maybe once, maybe twice, maybe 100 times, but this time is not going to be enough to do what I've done before because I still have the problem. Notice this is really different than just everybody you're talking to. Here's number three. The third thing a buyer is I'm committed to change. I recognize that the comfort zone isn't serving me. And you have to really recognize that I'm committed to change because the world is not served by you being found, being seen, being paid if you don't solve something with somebody who wants a problem solved. Because truthfully, that means you're dragging them uphill. And your job as the business owner is not to drag your clients. It is to inspire, support, guide, and assist. Because you're actually the wingman. You're not the solution itself. And so the first thing I want you to be thinking about right now is, do I have any idea who my buyer is? And am I talking to people that meet these three criteria? I know I have a problem. I'm looking for an alternate and I'm going to put in some work. Chances are you're not talking to buyer. They might meet one criteria. They might meet two criteria. They might meet only 2.25. But if they don't meet all three and you make an offer, what will happen? They'll walk right by it. I want you to walk right by, stop them and say, that sounds like an awful plan. Would you like some help? Are you committed? Do you know you have a problem? And are you curious how I can help you? And if that's the pre-conversation you have, you say these magic words. I said them before. Would you like me to make you an offer? That's number one. Without this, you will never win in business. So if this scares the living daylights out of you, come find me and use the resources I gave you. Number two is once I know that I'm talking to a buyer, my job is to move them. Movement is what builds momentum. And so I have to have a strategy, a plan that moves somebody from I'm curious to make me an offer. The more predictably I can do it, the more profitably I can do it, the more consistently I do it, the better I sleep at night, the better my mental health is as a business owner. And I will tell you, one of the big challenges that I see in the world of business all the time is that you think the answer is a tactic. You think the answer is going to be SEO. The answer is going to be social media. The answer is going to be doing 5 times this weird thing that you heard somebody works with in their business, and it's going to magically work for you. Tactics all work. I'm going to give you 25 of them that are working right now to create hundreds of thousands of dollars of revenue. It's a gift from me to you. The tactic works. It's not the tactic that's the problem. It's that you don't have a plan. You don't have a framework. You don't know how to slow down enough to meet your buyer in the dark. But your buyer's in the dark. Your buyer is Googling, Pinteresting, YouTubing how to solve a problem they've already created, experienced, white knuckled, and got through in a scary, scary white knuckle moment. I tell you, people who already have clients come to me and says, I have no idea how to create the next one. You're not alone if that's you. But I will tell you, you have to have a strategy. And the big way to win in strategy is to ask some very, very elegantly simple questions. Who am I? What do I stand for? What result do I stand for? What makes me the must hire? How do I want to play in the world of business? And all of those really simple questions are the framework for the decisions you make every day. I built my first business an hour a day and I was consistent at it. And people said, what's the difference between me and you? And I said, I know who my buyer is and I'm committed to action every day. Sometimes that meant I literally made steps in my business standing in a Starbucks lineup. Other times it was in the hotel bar waiting for my client. It wasn't about time. It was about knowing what to do because I had a framework. And you get to choose how to win your business. I just want to remind you, please, this is my biggest thing. Your business should feel like oxygen for you. If it doesn't, put your oxygen mask on. I want people to win in the world of business because it feels like oxygen, because I'm playing in a way I want to, serving people I want to, feeling lit up by the ripples of change I live in, and I'm prepared to do the work. Because here's also the other thing I will say in this step, and then I'll take you to number 3. Truthfully, your client knows there's work ahead. But if you're selling them on the fact that it's going to take an impossible journey, you're trying to sell them a unicorn. And what they are comfortable with is learning to breathe for 5 seconds. Slow it down. The win they're looking for is smaller, and don't undervalue how they're starting because you have already been enlightened. The biggest thing I tell my clients, have a strategy, slow it down. Meet your client where they are. Third piece of the puzzle, as I said it before, but we're trying to make you paid here, so let's just repeat the important pieces. It is up to you to lead the offer because your client is scared. It's getting really real. I've tried to solve this. I haven't. I've white knuckled my way through life, and I'm scared that you're about to make me an offer that I know not saying yes to has a really big price tag, or you shouldn't be in the room making an offer. But it's up to you to say, I'm scared, you're scared, but one of us has to go first, and I'm going to ask you, do you want me to make you an offer? And I said, you can bumble them, just keep making them. And what matters when you're making an offer is the value as perceived by the other person. Okay, value is not defined by you, and here's how this classically shows up. I'm making you an offer. Here's what my offer sounds like. See if this feels like you. I'm making you an offer. It is 4 of this, 7 of this, 3 of that, 2 beautiful balloons, 3 unicorns are going to be included, and I'm going to sprinkle some magic dust on it. Do you want to sign here? And they're going, wow, that sounds like her. No thanks, I think I need to think about it. Because you are justifying yourself and not justifying the result. What do they value? Start smaller. Nobody will buy your stuff because you've got cute graphics and you've got a perfect social media. They will buy you because you're human, which means when you're leading offers, show people who you are. I told you I started my first business working at 1 hour a day, which I didn't tell you is probably 18 months before that I lost my job. I'm a top performer. I was running a country. I was very successful, and I walked into a hotel bar where I thought I would have an evening with my emails and a glass of wine, and HR in the lobby were meeting me. They detonated my life, got on a plane, and flew home. I did not. I had to actually spend the next 17 hours overnight in a hotel 1,400 kilometers far from home, having my life torn upside down, deciding what the hell do I do next? I phoned my then fiance to say, by the way, we're not going to London, England with 30 of my clients next week. Please cancel the trip and tell your boss. Please tell my soon-to-be bonus daughters that their new-to-be stepmom is having her life implode, and I'm going to be falling apart quite a lot. And I also had, here's a kicker, 1 month later, somebody who worked for me said, I'd like your job. Can you help me get it? I did help her get it. She held that job for 5 years because I got to decide who I want to be in the world of business. I've shown you the roadmap. What will predict your revenue in the next 90 days? I've shown you what foundations every business on the planet needs. I want to ask you a question. Why do you want this? And here's your chance to pop it in the chat. It's my final invitation to you before we wrap up our session. I will tell you every business I know is looking for clients. There are only 3 reasons you don't have the ones that you're looking for. So pop it in the chat and get honest right now. Business growth can be simple. Figure out where you're standing. Number 1, you're saying, I don't know how to find my next client. If you are a number 1, pop in the chat right now. I don't know how to find my next client. This is a solvable problem. It's a knowledge problem. I've just shown you how it happens. Now you know actually how. You no longer have this excuse. There's 3 foundations that will grow $1 million business. That's it. Number two, this is you. I know how. I'm doing it. It's just not working particularly effectively. Something isn't perfect. It's not working so well. You're a number two, which means you've got a gap. It's not working so well, but you know how. But you'd like it to work more effectively. Pop that in the chat if you're number two. And number three, thank you. I love that you're popping these in the chat. This is two, which means you need an expert to come in and help you because you can't see your own blind spot. Solvable problem. Go solve it. Number three is I know what to do, and truthfully, I am in my own damn way. Which means you're not winning enough. Because if you were winning and your business was like oxygen, you would not struggle to get out of bed and do the things that need to get done. You want to get paid, get seen, get found. It's not a convenience journey. Choose your speed, get the help, get going, and win more. Because if you did, you put your oxygen mask on first. That's me. That's how you go from fractured to focused.
Let's see it. Awesome. That was great. Christine, thank you so much. And I'm seeing the threes, the twos, the ones. I had to wait till I heard all three of them before I could decide, but I guess I could have been all three of them.
You can be all three. You have probably been all three. You will probably be all three. The answer I want you to hear is I can solve that.
Yeah. I've definitely been all three. That's for darn sure. So I took a note here. It says if you don't make an offer to someone who is looking, then they'll buy from someone else. That's something for us to really, really think about, is that, if people are Googling, they're Googling something. If you have the answer, you have the solution for them. And if you're not out there, they're not going to find you. They're going to find somebody else. They can talk to you on a call, and you can have this great conversation. Like she said, if you're offering all these things, they're not really hearing that you're solving their problem. Then they're like, awesome, this is great, but you didn't make an offer to them. They'll go find somebody else. So think about that when you're getting on those calls. You have a free gift for everybody. It's called Ignite Your Client Growth Engine Bundle. Why don't you share with us briefly what that is?
So the two big questions you're having right now is, wow, that's a lot of information. How do I actually find my next client? The first thing is going to be a PDF. It's actually 25 tactics that right now help people find their next client. It's also got a recap of those three components of a buyer so that you have that handy. You are looking for the buyer and you get to choose your pathway. That's number one. Number two is actually going to be coming to spend some time with me where I will slow down. I will take you through these foundations and actually help you figure out the foundations you need. It's a live event. I don't record them. You've got to come. There's 2 dates in July, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. Come and be there because this is actually going to help you simplify your business. So that if you're building an hour a day or you're building full time, we'll help you get the clients faster in the next 90 days.
Awesome. Fantastic. Someone on our event team is going to drop a link for you to cash in on those gifts. Please take advantage of them. Christine, this has been amazing. I appreciate you for being here and just great nuggets that you shared. I took a lot of notes, for some things for me to think about. And as I mentioned, as we got started here today, is to think about that intention. What is something that Christine brought up to you that can help you to move the needle? And you only need to take one small step to move the needle. That's all you need to do, but you need to take that action. So think about something. Is there something that she said that you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to do that? Do that. Do that thing that makes you cringe. Do the thing that makes you cringe. Get yourself out there. Christine, thanks again so much for being here and being part of this summit to help everybody to boost their business. Appreciate you.
Thank you.